Let's go back to the third item in the assessment, which is the individual project. So it happens at the end of the term, and we will give you a code base to start with.
Okay, so
Because it's individual project and the time is not quite long, so we cannot assume that you can finish like a very good or big project in a short time. So we give you a code base to start with, and we will release that code base earlier so that you can read through the code base and then you can add roles in your individual project.
Big project in a short time.
Okay, the projector. So now we talk about the assessments. Next item we'll talk about is the teaching strategy. So we have lectures. So here, everyone's here, and we have tutorials, labs, major project, individual project, and also help sessions. I will go through this one by one. Thank you so much. Next item we'll talk about is the teaching strategy. So we have lectures. So here, everyone's here, and we have tutorials,
I will try to
labs,
continue.
major project, individual project, and also help sessions. For the lectures, we have 2 lectures each week, and each lecture is 2 hours. And most of them will be in hybrid, meaning that will be face-to-face and also available live streaming available online. All the links to the live streaming is on WebCMS. And we also uploaded the slides from last term. Also, today's lecture, the slides have already been updated earlier last night. So all the slides will be updated before the lecture. So if you want to have a look at what is happening in the future weeks, you can have a look at the slides from last term. But those slides will be updated. Okay, so those slides will be updated before the lecture. The next item is the tutorials. So we have lesson tutorials each week. So these are smaller classes, similar to the tutorials and labs in the other courses. So we have lesson tutorials each week. So these are smaller classes, similar to the tutorials and labs. And all the tutorial materials are already on the course website on the WebCMS, and all the labs have already been released to you. So have a look and check if you have access to all those labs. And if you do not have access to those labs, please post on the forum, and our course staff will address the access for you. You can feel free to work on those labs earlier. And so the labs are due weekly on each Monday, but you can get started earlier. So, for example, you may assume that you will be busy in week 7, then perhaps you can do the week 7 labs earlier. You can plan ahead. But we will release the solution to those labs very, very early, directly after the lab is due. The reason is because the labs are very important for the major project. So we'll release the lab solutions to you, and those are very important support for you on your major project. It's okay. Because the labs are very important for the major project. Okay, so the next item is the major project. The major project will be released to you. Oh, great, perfect. Thank you so much. Great. We have slides now. Yay! Okay. The major project will be released to you next Monday, so week to Monday. So this week in your tutorial, your tutors will help you form into a group of about 5. So most group will have 5 the major students in each group, but there are also some groups with 4 students. And this after the groups are finalized in this week, you will have access to the project iteration 0 next Monday. But there are also some groups with 4 students. And this after the groups are finalized in this week, the next one is help session. So help sessions, the feedback from our previous students is that help sessions are very, very, very helpful. They are drop-in sessions. We have a lot of help sessions. I can show you. The next one is help session. So help sessions. The feedback from our previous students is that help sessions are very, very, very helpful. They are drop-in sessions. We have a lot of help sessions. I can show you. It's okay, but you can find it here, the help sessions. we have a lot of help sessions. And the first help session will start this Thursday, week 1 Thursday. Okay. Any questions about the course? Feel free to drop in.
The help sessions. We
Look
have
at that.
a lot
We
of help
have
sessions.
so many help sessions. And the first help session will start this
Okay,
Thursday. I think
week
I've
1
already
Thursday.
cover the
Any questions about the
individual
project?
project.
Feel free to drop
Yeah.
in. The help session.
Oh, one thing that I forgot to
We
mention
have
earlier is that we will also
so
have
many
some
help sessions.
theoretical
And the
concepts
first help
mentioned in
session
the
will start.
individual
Okay,
project.
I
Because
think I've
in the
already
major project,
covered
we mainly focus on the practical stuff, like how you develop a software project. However, in this course, it is software engineering fundamental course. There are also some important concepts, some theories that are also important but not covered in the major project. So we put them in the individual project. However, in this course, it is software. Okay, so if you need any help, what are the process? Step number 0, chat to your teammates, your group members, and ask them if they know the answer. Okay. And then the next step will be go to our forum. What are the process? Hands up if you have already went to the forum. Chat to your teammates. That's great. For those who have not visited the forum yet, please do that as soon as possible. The forum is also quite an important resource for you. And the step 3 to get help is to drop in a help session. Step number 4 is emailing your tutor or your lab assistant. And the last step would be emailing the course email, which is cs1531@cse.unsw.edu.au. Step number 4 is emailing your tutor. Do not email individual lectures, so do not email me. So I have the email may be like missed or like you maybe cannot get a reply. So email the course email, so you get a better chance to get a reply sooner. And also do not email the admins. Okay. Some of them are working, so the conclusion is email the course account. So that's the best choice for you. Okay. And also do not email. To get started, to getting set up, we have a getting started page on the course website here. So the conclusion is email the course account. So that's the best choice for you. Okay. And also do not email. To get started, it's quite slow. So how it's going? How is it going online? The online streaming is going okay. The audio is not proper. So how it's going? What about now? I will have a try. I'm here. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Yeah, so getting set up, the easiest way is going to VLab. I will demo later how we can set up for 1531 in VLab. It's very, very easy, just one command. There are a couple of technologies that we use in this course, WebCMS, our home, yay, and the forum, and also GitLab, okay? GitLab is very important in this course. We'll get introduced into GitLab today. We'll start to use GitLab today, very soon. And also Microsoft Teams. Your tutor might have already invited you to join in a Microsoft team for your tutorial class. Check your email if you haven't joined the teams for your tutorial class, and make sure you join the team for your class. Okay, great. So I've very quickly covered everything about the course overview. And now let's get introduced into the world of the fundamentals of software engineering. Before I explain anything about software engineering, what do you think software engineering is? Any thoughts? Yeah.
Operating systems?
Operating systems?
Yeah, and the design and construction of different types of operating systems.
Design and construction of different operating systems? Nice point. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
The process of intelligently designing code to run on a computer in very general terms.
Oh, very general terms. But it's nice. Yeah. Cool. Great. So normally when we try to explain what is software engineering, we try to compare it with computer science.
Right, so when we compare it with something, it's easier to explain what is it. So how's the audio? Better? Okay, great. Thank you so much. So before that, I think all of you have completed 1511 or some other course equally before, right? Yeah, I assume that is true. Okay, so in that course, you learned how to code, how to write in code to solve some problems. But in 1531, we take a little bit further beyond that. So we learn how to be a software engineer by architecting and building software in a team. So teamwork is also an important part in software engineering. Right? In the real world, in industry, like any big software like YouTube or Instagram, right? These are big software systems, or Netflix. None of this can be completed by only one single person. No matter how smart he is or she is, like how many time he devoted or she devoted in that program, they cannot achieve that. We need to we need to build software in a team. So what is software engineering? So difference between computer science and the software engineering is that computer science is concerned with understanding how computers work and also how computers function, like making computers do things. Maybe do things in a secure way, like in what we learn in cybersecurity courses, or how to make computers more intelligent, like in the artificial intelligence courses. So this is computer science. But in software engineering, we care about build a software for the users in a real world scenario. Like building the right software for right people, and also making sure it's maintainable over time as it grows and people working on it change. So let's use Netflix as an example again. Netflix release new features or new functions quite frequent. So how do we maintain the Netflix is always working? Okay, so here's an interesting question. Do you need to be a software engineering student to be employed as a software engineer? No. Yeah, the question is right. No, we don't. How many of you are actually software engineering student? Yay! Not bad. Yep. This course is, of course, important for software engineering students, but may also be interesting for other students. So how many of you are computer science students? Wow. How many of you are computer engineering students? Yay. How many of you are from other schools in the engineering faculty? Oh, still quite a lot of people. Great. Yeah, you do not need to be a software engineering student to be a software engineer. So maybe after you learn this course and you found like building a software is so interesting, you are so interested in that, perhaps it will lead you to a career as a software engineer. If you are not interested in a career as software engineer, the concepts that we learned in this course can also be interesting or useful for you as a career. So for example, in the major project, we have a couple of iterations. Right? So I always emphasize to my students, like, we cannot make the perfect software at the beginning. Feel free to come in. So we have iterations. So in each iteration, we break the big projects into smaller parts, and we tackle each of them by each iteration. So this is important and useful concepts, like no matter which engineering major that you are doing, right? And also teamwork, right? Oh, here's a more formal definition of software engineering. Software engineering, the application of a systematic, disciplined, quantifiable approach to the development, operation, and maintenance of software, and the study of these approaches. That is the application of engineering to software. Okay, so this is relevant to all of you in the engineering faculty. Oh, before I go ahead, like any of you from other faculties, like, so which school are you from?
Business school.
Business school. So you joined this course as an elective?
No, it's a double degree.
Oh, double degree. Interesting. Yeah. Who just raised their hand from other faculties? Yeah. Which school are you from? Business. Welcome. Welcome to the world of computing. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So you might wonder what's the daily life of a software engineer would be. So we will design and maintain software systems. We will evaluate and also testing software system. So all of this will be, you will experience most of this in this course. So you will have a taste of having a career as a software engineer. We will explain to those in more details later. Okay, so before I explain more what is software engineering and how it works, I'd like to show you something on our course website and the coursework, the lectures here. It's so slow. I will need to figure out a way to make it faster. Okay, so here is it. So you can see that in the lectures we have different topics. We have topics on coding together, and we have different lectures on coding together. We also have, for example, correctness and different lectures on the topic of correctness. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is giving you an overview of what are the topics are and why they are important in software engineering and why we include it in this course. So you can see that. Can I? Okay, all good. So for the first one, see that the icon over there. So you can find the ones here. So these topics are covered from week 8. Okay, so we'll learn about how to understand the problem we are trying to solve. So for example, you are given a task, like you are asked to design a software, and you start code directly. And you spend like 1 week or 1 month, and then you bring what you have coded to the customer, and they said, well, this is not actually what I want or what we want. So the time is kind of wasted, right? So before we started coding anything, we need to understand what are the requirements. So we'll learn about that. And the next one is how do we design and develop code that resist regressions when it changes over time. We'll learn quite a lot in this course that software does change a lot during its life. So from its beginning, when it published to be used by the users, maybe after a year or 2 years, 3 years, the software will change a lot. So we'll learn about how we make our software resist, and how we make our software safe. Okay, we'll also learn about how we make the software safe. And also we'll learn about deployment. So deployment is making our software available to use by any people anywhere. So they can just put in the URL in the web browser and they can use your software. We'll also learn about that. Finally, we'll also learn about how we work together as a group. Okay, so here's a summary of all the topics that we cover in this course. So one of the major learning outcome of this course is called software development lifecycle. So we start with, like, can you see clearly here? requirements analysis. So we analyze the requirements, and then we design, development, testing, and deploy and maintenance. Which of these concepts that you have heard of, and which of the concepts you have never heard of? Like any of the phase in software engineering lifecycle that you have heard of, or you have no idea what is it? Yeah. Oh, good. What about maintenance? Any of you have heard of maintenance? Yay, great, great, great. Anyone interested in introducing to your classmates what's your understanding of maintenance? Yep.
So, like, doing hardware, software is always changing.
Yeah.
So, maintenance is just making sure that it's compatible with changing technologies.
Yeah. Great. I will repeat this for those online. So maintenance means that the hardware or software is always changing. So we want to make it compatible when it changes, right? Yeah, exactly. Especially when we have a software and we make it open source. Like we want to invite people to join your project and contribute to your project, right? So it's you want people to be able to join your project with less effort, with less burden. So they can feel. So this is one part of maintenance, but we'll learn more about maintenance in the future. And what about requirement analysis? Any? Yeah, cool.
So requirement analysis basically identifying what the customers need
Mm-hmm.
and trying to build a plan around their requirements.
Uh-huh.
And yes, it's that thing.
So-
Understanding what a customer needs.
Understanding what the customers need. Great, great, perfect. So yes, understanding what customer needs is an important step in the requirement analysis, and it's also the first step in requirement analysis. But there are also other parts of requirement analysis. For example, when you have a prototype, you have some initial design. Maybe you can also bring this to your customer or your end user, and then collect feedback on it, and then you can make changes accordingly. So this is also part of requirement analysis. In this course, we'll introduce some more concrete methods or strategies to do the requirement analysis. So it won't be that hard as we just heard it. Hey, so what about testing? Any thoughts on testing? Wow, silence. Oh, cool,
I'm
great.
sure your code actually does what you want it to. It's something very different.
Oh, that's interesting, and that's absolutely correct. So making sure your code works as what you want it to, and not doing something that you have no idea what is it, right? Yes, yes, yes. Testing, yay! We'll do a lot of testings in this course. You will figure that out very soon after we start work on the major project. So testing is important to make sure that our software is safe and doing what we want it to. Right, yeah, exactly. What we have left so far? Oh, deployment. Any thoughts on deployment? What do you know about development? Or any guess, like you have never heard of the term of deployment, but you want to have a guess? Okay.
So putting it up online so other people can use it.
Put it online so that other people can use it. Exactly, that's very, very true. We'll also introduce, in the later stage of this course, we'll introduce to you how we can do deployment. Okay, we'll have deployment in the lab and also deployment for the major project. Okay, you will do some practice on that so that your major project will be able to use by your friends. Interesting, right? So you can play the games, the quizzes using your major project in your future. So you can use it, right? And your friends can also use the product of your major project. That's amazing, right? Okay, so the last one we have left here is design. Oh, this is quite big term. So, yeah.
I'm guessing design is like how the layout of the website is, or how do you make the website more attractive, like to your clients, so that they can use it instead of like having this gigantic mess of tabs. That's like it's design.
Yeah. Cool. That's So just repeat. What he suggests is design is making sure our website is easy to use, like having some intuitive icons or tabs, like components, right?
Yeah, like say sort of like Gmail or
Like Gmail.
or yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, easy to use, right?
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the design?
Deciding what code you're going to write so that you don't end up starting to write code that does something different to what you want.
Okay.
Starting to write a parser for a document and then realizing that you don't actually understand the syntax you're supposed to be parsing. So planning out what you're doing in advance so that you know what kind of code you're going to be writing.
Planning ahead the code that you want. Yes. Both of these are correct. So both of these are design. However, in this course, when we talk about design, it's actually this one. So planning ahead. But what you just mentioned is also part of design, but we unfortunately cannot cover that in this course. But we do have a course at CSE that talk about how to design intuitive interface in the HCI course. Yep. Okay, great. So you kind of helped me went through the software development life cycle, which is amazing. I think I do not need to go through these slides now. One more thing that haven't been covered so far, which is full stack. So many software projects now are web-based and have both front-end and back-end. Again, the example of Netflix or YouTube or Gmail. So all of them have front-end and back-end. So this is full stack. Quite straightforward. We'll be working on similar systems using HTTP and data layers to write a functioning server in the major project. We are going to have fun, yay! We'll start working on a major project next week. And I also want to emphasize that COMP1531 is a learning community. So not only you learning from the teaching team, like me, myself, and also your tutors, your lab assistant, or the lab assistant in the help sessions. So you also learn from your peers. So this is why we have groups. So when I'm working in a group, I'm still working in a group. I'm always collaborating with my colleagues. I found that I learned a lot from my peers, from my colleagues. Not only when they teach me, but also when I explain to them what I have learned. So I learned better when I try to help the others. Agree? So this is very important. So we are a learning community. So in the forum, I also already noticed some of you are starting to help answering questions on the forum, which is great. So you can always do that, and then maybe you can learn better. And also help your friends in your group, right? So this is how we learn from peers. And also myself is always learning from my students. So last time when I was teaching 1531, we had students coming on the stage and help me solve my demo problems, and also explaining questions from your peers. So I'm always learning from you. So if you have any suggestions to make this course better, or you find like you've learned this or that in the previous week and you want to share with your friends, your classmates in the lecture, just feel free to let me know, and we can arrange like 5 minutes mini lecture at the beginning or in the middle. Some other aspects before we jump on to GitLab. USW have some very useful resources and some services, such as the website on health and well-being, they have some free consultants and resources. Some of my students have found that very useful. And also, if you are sick in the middle of the term, please apply for the special consideration. Although I do not want anyone to be sick, but just in case, we have the special considerations, and you can use it. Okay, so next topic, ChatGPT. Who has used the ChatGPT? Yay! Do you find it useful? Depends. Okay, so what do you mean by depends?
Well, all it does is predict the next word. So if you're helping it help you write code in a language that it knows, great. If you're using it to help you write code in English, it's not going to do something.
Yeah, exactly. It depends. And also sometimes I found it really helpful, like give some feedback on my code and help me improve, help me learn. So if we can use GPT properly, it might be a pretty good tool. However, we need to be mindful while using GPT, because sometimes it will give very misleading answer. I was asking GPT what is full stack, and I asked the same question twice. The first time it gave me a very, very good answer. It explains with details, with examples, and the answer was also correct. However, the second time when I asked GPT the same question, what is full stack? It's just random stuff, doesn't make sense. So sometimes it can be very misleading. So please be mindful while using GPT. So we cannot say like you can't using GPT in this course. We do not say that. So if it's helpful, you can use that for your learning. So all we want is you learn something from this course, right? But please be careful while using GPT. And also, some students, not from 1531, but in other courses, they notice that students accidentally, not intentionally, caught in plagiarism because they use GPT. They didn't know that they are cheating, but actually they were.
What did they do? They just copy the code?
Yeah, they copy the code. Yeah. So this is something that we cannot do using ChatGPT. I don't want you to be caught in like plagiarism. Well, you did not intend it to plagiarize, right? So please be careful while using GPT. Okay, great. For this term, every piece of the content, like the slides or the demo code, is derived from previous term, but we will make some changes to it. So as I mentioned, the slides will be updated before the lecture, same as the code and everything. Sometimes it be in a minor way, but sometimes it might be in a major way. Okay. Yep, and I think none of the courses, like 1531, has never been perfect. We are always trying to improve each term. So we take your feedback and take the tutor's feedback, and we are always improving. So if you have any feedback, please let us know as early as possible so that we can improve your experience in the following weeks. So if you just tell us in the 8th week or 9th week, there's not much we can do at that stage. However, if you tell us in the 1st week or even the 3rd week, maybe we can still make some changes to it and you can have a better experience. So if you notice something that we can improve, please let us know, and we really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so this is how we can suggest improvements and how we collect feedback. So at the end of all the slides, we have a QR code. It's anonymous, so we do not collect your name. But if you want to put your name in it for us to easy to follow up with you and ask you more questions, you can always put your name and your ZID in it. Otherwise, it's anonymous.